Yo, what's good, money mavens and finance nerds? Welcome back to Boss Economics World, where we roast bad economic moves like they're marshmallows at a campfire. I'm your host, the one and only boss economist, here to break down the latest global trade drama with a side of shade and a sprinkle of stats. Buckle up, cause today we're diving into how Donald Trump's 39% tariff bomb on Switzerland turned a quaint alpine nation into an economic soap opera. Let's get it. Picture this. It's July 4th, 2025, and while Americans are grilling hot dogs and waving flags, Switzerland's top brass are popping champagne, thinking they've dodged Trump's tariff guillotine. Fast forward to August 1st, Switzerland's National Day, and bam, Trump slaps a 39% tariff on Swiss goods, the highest in the developed world, turning their fondue dreams into a melted mess. Swiss President Karen Keller-Sutter tried to sweet-talk her way out of it, but Trump ghosted her faster than a bad Tinder date. Now, Switzerland's economy is staring down the barrel of a trade war, and we're here to unpack the chaos, boss economics style. This isn't just about pricey Swiss watches or chocolate bars getting pricier in the US. It's a masterclass in how one man's ego can ripple through global markets, screw over industries, and make your wallet cry. So, let's break it down from point to surface, exposing the economic dumpster fire behind Trump's tariff tantrum, with fresh data and examples to keep it real. Let's start at the epicenter, Trump's fixation on trade deficits. He pointed to a $40 billion goods trade deficit with Switzerland in 2024 to justify the 39% tariff, claiming the Swiss are stealing from America. But hold up, this math is shadier than a used car salesman. According to the Office of the United States Trade Representative, the 2024 goods deficit was $38.3 billion, but the U.S. ran a $29.7 billion surplus in services, making the overall trade deficit closer to $8.6 billion. That's not chump change, but it's not that Yuga lost Trump's peddling. By ignoring services like finance, software, and tourism, he's cooking the books to paint Switzerland as a trade villain. This selective stat picking isn't just sloppy, it's deliberate. Trump's America First playbook treats trade deficits like a personal insult, but economists like Jonathan Dingell from Columbia University call this out as nonsense. A bilateral trade deficit isn't a win or loss, it just means U.S. buyers imported more from Swiss sellers. In other words, Americans chose to buy Swiss watches, drugs, and chocolate because they're top tier. Punishing Switzerland for making stuff people want is like grounding your kid for getting straight A's. Trump's deficit obsession is economic fan fiction. It's like judging a chef by how much flour they use instead of how good the cake tastes. And Switzerland, with its tiny 9 million population, is now the poster child for this warped logic. Let's zoom out to the industries taking the hit. Switzerland's economy is a precision machine, exporting $63 billion in goods to the US in 2024, about 1/6 of its total exports. The 39% tariff, compared to the EU's 15% or the UK's 10%, is a sledgehammer to key sectors like watches, machinery, and food, with pharmaceuticals spared, for now. Here's the breakdown. The US is Switzerland's top watch market, soaking up 17% of exports, $5.4 billion in 2024. With a 39% tariff, a $10,000 Rolex could jump to $13,000 per Revolution watch. Mid-tier brands like Tag Heuer are sweating, facing 20-30% US sales drops by 2026. Luxury giants like Rolex might eat the cost or pass it on, but smaller players? They're toast. Swiss watch exports were already down 10% in May 2025 due to weak Chinese demand, and now Trump's piling on. Oh, and the Swiss franc's 11% surge against the dollar this year makes exports even pricier. Talk about a triple whammy. Swiss machinery exports to the US hit $15 billion in 2024, but the tariff could shave off 10% of sector revenue. Companies like ABB and Sulzer are mulling U.S. production to dodge the levies, but moving factories isn't like moving your couch, it's costly and slow. Swissmem, the industry group, reports a third of its members are already on short-time work. For medtech, higher costs could ripple to U.S. hospitals, jacking up treatment prices. Consumers, you're paying for this one. Pharmaceuticals, Switzerland's golden goose, 38.5% of exports in 2023, are exempt for now. But Trump's eyeing tariffs up to 250% on drugs, citing high U.S. prices. Roche and Novartis, which employ thousands in the U.S., are rushing to onshore production. Roche alone pledged $50 billion by 2030. If tariffs hit, Bloomberg Economics estimates a 1-2% GDP hit for Switzerland. That's not a recession, but it's a punch to the gut for a country with 0.5% GDP growth in Q1 2025. These tariffs are like throwing a Molotov cocktail into a Swiss chalet. Watches, machinery, and maybe soon pharma are getting roasted, and U.S. consumers will feel the burn with higher prices. Who's winning here? Not the average Joe. Zoom out further, and this isn't just Switzerland's problem, it's a warning shot for global trade. Trump's tariffs, hitting Canada, 35%, Brazil, 50%, and even Syria, 41%, signal a return to protectionist chaos. Berenberg economist Atakan Bakiskin warns that these levies could hurt global trade and reduce international competition. The World Trade Organization's 2025 forecast already predicts a 2.7% drop in global trade volume if tariffs escalate, costing the global economy $1.2 trillion by 2027. Switzerland's plight shows how even neutral, high-income countries aren't safe. The EU dodged a bullet with a 15% tariff deal, but Switzerland's 39% rate, compared to Laos and Myanmar at 40%, is a geopolitical middle finger. Trump's claim that Switzerland's wealth justifies the punishment ignores its role as a top U.S. investor, with over 500,000 American jobs tied to Swiss firms like Nestlé and Breitling. Slapping your seventh-largest investor with punitive tariffs isn't America first, it's America shoots itself in the foot. The Swiss franc strength adds another layer of pain. The Swiss National Bank cut rates to 0% in June 2025 to tame the franc's 11% rise, but it's still crushing exporters. Bank of America's Kamal Sharma notes the SNB might intervene to weaken the franc, risking Trump's currency manipulator label again. It's a lose-lose, either Swiss goods get pricier, or Switzerland gets another black mark from the White House. Trump's tariff roulette is turning global trade into a Wild West shootout. Switzerland's just the first to get hit, but the ricochet could tank supply chains, spike inflation, and make your grocery bill look like a car payment. Yawn, another day in 2025 economics. At the macro level, Switzerland's tariff debacle is a case study in diplomatic naivety. Keller-Sutter's team thought they could charm Trump with logic and concessions, $150 billion in U.S. investments, relaxed agricultural rules, and promises to ditch Chinese drug ingredients. But Trump's not playing chess, he's playing whack-a-mole. As one Swiss official admitted, we are not good at international power politics. No kidding, Keller-Sutter's stoic, we stand by our word vibe didn't land with a president who thrives on flattery and flexing. The fallout? Swiss companies are scrambling. Some, like Swatch Group, are eyeing Asian markets like India and Vietnam to offset U.S. losses. Others are considering relocation, but that's a logistical nightmare and a betrayal of the Swiss-made brand. The Swiss Market Index, SMI, rallied 1.2% on August 7, shrugging off the tariffs, but don't be fooled, analysts at Jefferies predict 20% plus price hikes for Swiss goods in the U.S., hitting consumers hard. For Swiss voters, this is a wake-up call. The go-it-alone strategy, relying on neutrality and economic exceptionalism, is cracking. Posts on X show Swiss investors fuming, with one calling it Keller-Sutter's biggest fiasco. The KOF Swiss Economic Institute predicts a 0.20–0.3% GDP drop if the trade war drags on, equating to $200 less per capita. That's not just numbers, it's jobs, investments, and purchasing power taking a hit. Switzerland bet on handshakes and got a slap in the face. In Trump's world, loyalty means nothing if you don't kiss the ring. Neutrality? Cute, but irrelevant when the trade war's on. So, what's Switzerland to do? They're not waving the white flag yet. The government's keeping a delegation in Washington, pitching sweeter deals like buying US F-35 jets or LNG. But Trump's track record suggests he'll demand more, like lower drug prices or US-based pharma production. Swiss companies, meanwhile, are hedging bets with currency swaps and Asian pivots. Investors, take note, pharma stocks like Roche are safer bets than watchmakers, but keep an eye on SMI volatility. For the global audience, this is a red flag. The IMF's 2025 World Economic Outlook warns that protectionism could shave 1.3% off global GDP by 2028 if tariffs spread. U.S. consumers, brace for higher prices, Swiss chocolate could cost you 20% more by Christmas. And finance pros? Time to stress test portfolios for trade war shocks. Diversify into markets like India, where Swiss luxury goods are gaining traction. Trump's 39% tariff on Switzerland is peak economic clownery. It's not about fixing trade deficits, it's about flexing power and picking fights with allies. Switzerland's learning the hard way that in a trade war, no one's neutral. For you viewers, whether you're a finance bro or just trying to afford your morning Nespresso, watch your wallet. These tariffs aren't just Switzerland's problem, they're coming for us all. Stay sharp, stay diversified, and let's keep roasting bad economic moves. This is Boss Economics World, signing off, peace.